Andy, welcome, and please tell everyone who you are and what your company is.
So Andy Whiteside, I'm the founder and CEO of XenTegra, a end-user compute focused company. We're very much a Citrix partner, very focused on Citrix end-user compute. We're all former Citrix employees. We really embrace Citrix's leadership in the space.
And what's the thing about end-user computing?
You know, it's just kind of fun, right? I mean, infrastructure is great. We definitely get into that, and we enjoy being part of the machine virtualization, the storage, and the compute layer. But at the end of the day, helping end users compute by helping them get a hold of the applications that they're trying to use to be part of their business process, it's very impactful. And that goes a long way towards providing value add. I mean, we're a value added reseller for Citrix and IGEL. Having that impact on users so that they're able to do their job and be part of the application story, which is applying software to the business challenges, is what we focus on and what we enjoy being part of.
Why is the environment now so different and so ripe for what you're doing?
I think some of the conversations around cloud and bringing it all back to the application is very prevalent and important at this point, but I don't think it's new. I think it's always been there. It's just the infrastructure guys have dominated for so long that it became an oversight of IT to focus on the entire solution, including application access to the end user versus having the infrastructure up and available. I mean, that's very important. But at the end of the day, if the end user can't access the application because of the endpoint, because of the security endpoint, because of the middleware that delivers the application, it all doesn't matter. I can tell you firsthand that this all came to fruition for me sitting in a meeting back when I was the infrastructure admin for a Fortune 500 company, and I got about 15 minutes through the meeting and realized that the application and desktop team was struggling, but I was perfectly happy with what I was doing, and I kind of took over the meeting and said, okay, let's understand what you guys are doing and where it's failing. Let's not talk about what I'm doing any longer, because it's your side of the equation that really matters.
And it's getting more and more complex, is it not? Because there's more mobile users, there's more environments that have a lot of technology integrated. There's Windows, there's iOS, there's Android.
Right.
So there's a new world that's evolved in the last few years that makes it harder for traditional infrastructure to get the applications out to the end user. Is that true?
It's definitely true. I've been a Citrix guy for almost 20 years now, and I've been delivering the application to almost any device for that entire time. It's definitely becoming more of a challenge because people are more mobile and they have different devices. But to be quite frank, the solution that we've been putting in place since the late 90s still applies to what they're trying to access today. It has evolved for sure, but it's not all that different. But we're definitely chasing the user mobility and the spectrum of devices that users are trying to use for sure.
So talk about your partnership with IGEL. You work with them very closely.
Right.
And how does that work? Where do you guys meet and work together?
So when push comes to shove, I really want the user to have the experience they're looking for, and I want it to be secure. And IGEL fits that need more than any other technology that we work with on the endpoint side. Certainly a Windows device gives us all the options that we could possibly look for, but at the same time it brings into the conversation a lot of challenges that a Linux-based solution that is extremely manageable helps to solve at the same time and give the end user an experience that is very usable from their perspective, and from an IT perspective, very manageable.
And what I understand is that the consistency of IGEL's ability to deliver that experience, on a tiny little device, the pocket device,
yep,
to any machine is really unmatched in the industry.
From an x86 perspective, the ability to deliver that consistent endpoint experience that is secure and managed, very succinct, is where IGEL fits for us. I mean, there's a lot of technologies that can get you there, but there's not a lot of technologies that can make it easily manageable and predictable.
Are there any client examples that jump to mind when I say, well, have you done any where you've gone in and you said, wow, what a great result that was?
Yeah, I've got two that I can talk about. One is a healthcare provider that for their physical therapists, they took existing laptops that they had that were running Windows, and they converted those to IGEL so that they could increase the uptime of those devices, increase the security of those devices, and make it a more consistent experience for the physical therapist. Probably the one I'm most excited about, and it's kind of simple, is we have a county government that is using IGEL for some of their use cases, but the administrator there also has a part-time consulting gig that he has a lot of small business solutions that he works with, and he just loves it. I mean, he definitely, from a part-time perspective, can manage his probably 20 customer client base using IGEL as the endpoint, and he's simplified his life for what he's doing on the side. And I know it sounds crazy to bring that up, but it's truly the IGEL solution coming to full circle, where you have something that's secure and predictable that a guy can part-time administer and maintain several clients, 20 in this case, using that solution, so that he's not running around updating endpoints like he was prior to finding IGEL in his corporate daily life, where he's using it successfully as well, but where he's using it in his, I don't want to say personal, but in some of the things he's doing in addition to his corporate life.
So one of the big pluses, as I understand it, of IGEL is that it's relatively hardware agnostic and it's software defined, which makes everyone's life easy.
Yeah, there's been a lot of conversations I've had through the years around thin clients, and very much a hardware-centric conversation. And to me, IGEL is the first company I've experienced that really understood it was a software solution, right? We don't, we have the x86 platform that anybody can execute on top of, but having IGEL, truly understand it's about the software delivery piece of it, a software-defined endpoint, a secure software-defined endpoint. It's really where IGEL is kind of changing the game there. And then when you add into that the management platform that can take that software-defined endpoint and make it agnostic to the hardware that's running on top of, and make it very manageable. And for me, it's the thing that differentiates IGEL is the fact that I know that going into it, if there's a chance that someone's going to throw me a curveball in terms of what the endpoint needs to be able to handle, IGEL is going to be prepared. Obviously Windows has got a platform that has been around forever and can do almost anything, but IGEL is very close, based on the fact that it's Linux-based, to being able to help me prepare for whatever I don't know.
And security is a big issue,
Yep.
obviously, and one of IGEL's real strengths is security, as I understand it.
Well, the fact that it's Linux, first of all, limits the attack vector. That's a big part of it. Linux, obviously, like any operating system, can have vulnerabilities, but the fact that the world is not looking to exploit Linux as often limits the attack vector, and IGEL is very good at limiting Linux functionality out of the gate with its management platform, so that our ability to take a vulnerability in Linux and exploit it is it's not that great. In addition to that, IGEL is very good at responding to Linux vulnerabilities early on, and provides a very good centralized management way of addressing it if, in fact, you do need to update the solution.
You've said you've been doing this for 20 years or more. Where do you see it going?
So I really think it's a no-brainer that the delivery of the compute workload has to happen. I was recently talking to a couple clients that I'm having to convince that delivery versus deploy is the right solution. It's a struggle to me, quite frankly, to have that conversation with people at this point. But I get it, right? They live in a world where it's been a distributed computing model for 20 years. It works. It's very distributed in terms of where the points of failure can be. But what people have to realize is the delivered model has a lot of wins on a daily basis and a lot of success on a daily basis. And you have to also understand that at some point you're going to have failures, which can be exacerbated by the fact that it's a single delivery model. but at the same time, you have to calculate on all the days and the moments and the seconds when things are working great, how much value add there is in that. That you're not constantly chasing a solution that works for everyone, because you're delivering a solution that works for everyone most of the time, knowing that there's going to be points in time where the middleware is going to fail, the backend is going to fail, but certainly the scalability of it, the mobility of it, and most importantly, the security of it. And that's where IGEL kicks in, is that endpoint security conversation goes up a whole nother level when we're delivering the workload and the endpoint is secure and managed, and there's no question about that.
And easy to install and operate, as I understand it. That it's
easy to install. Yep.
Oh my gosh, I got to phone IT and I'm going to be on the phone for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Because I just got a new laptop or something happened. Bam.
Right. It's whether you're using the UD Pocket, or you're doing a conversion software, or you're buying a thin client. The IGEL solution brings the opportunity to manage it holistically, all those devices under one roof, so that when it's time to deploy, it's the opportunity to manage all the items, all the devices, as if it's one concept, one platform.
Right. So regardless of what's underneath it, it's consistent across everyone using it.
It is, yes, absolutely.
Andy, thanks for being here.
All right.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.